Hello, Grumpy Old Fart here. Um, this is a kind of a touchy subject because it borders on people's belief systems, and I try not to, you know, get involved with people's religious or other belief systems. However, there are some moral conundrums with this, and I'm going to try to keep a neutral stance on this. But it's going to be difficult, and if I step off the line one way or the other, I'm going to apologize in advance. For those of you who don't understand cloning, cloning is not natural. Cloning is the creation of a genetic duplicate of a single parent. Essentially, the female egg is removed and the nucleus of that egg is extracted. All of the female material is taken out of that. The genetic material of the male is then injected into the egg. The egg is then reintroduced to the female for impregnation. That's how they create a clone. Now, this is much different than artificial insemination in that none of the female's genetic material is used. In artificial insemination, they take this egg and they just inject the male material in, and then they put it back in, and that's that. That's artificial insemination. With this, they take the egg out, they take out the female material, the nucleus, and then they put the male material in, and then they put it in. That way, the woman brings to term a being with none of her genetic traits. It's all the male. So this is a huge difference. It's not anything like artificial insemination. It's virtually the opposite. This has been done with many different animals, including Dolly, a sheep, in 1996. Usually this cloning has a low success rate, and it does result in a lot of deformities. So it is by no means perfect. I want to say the highest rate of success I've heard is something like 30%. So, and that's under dispute. Now, there are two doctors who are at the center of this controversy. I'm not going to go into them particularly because I've heard, again, both sides of the story. You got to look these guys up for yourself and make your own decision. Dr. Panos Zavos, Panos Zavos, Panos Zavos. And the other guy is Dr. Severino Antinori, Severino Antinori. These guys, again, are at the center of this controversy. There have been claims that humans have been cloned. One individual has claimed that they've had multiple of these cloned human beings. As of right now, the government, the arguments against human cloning are numerous. You know, are we gods? Are we allowed to create beings like that? Does it have if you do create one, does it have a soul? There's lots of deformities. As I understand it, the prevailing wisdom is that if you create one of these and it's going to be deformed, you can abort it. But I'm not a big fan of abortion. I don't think we should be doing this in the first place. And I'm stepping off the line, I know, and I'm sorry. It's hard to stay on the line on this one. I'm a big fan of individualism, and if somebody creates a clone of me, even if it's a perfect clone, if it's perfectly healthy and everything, how does that diminish me as a person? You see what I'm saying? If we successfully create these clones, go check out, before I do that, let me go check out my videos on quantum teleportation. It's a Technophobe video, and it deals with quantum teleportation. That is, in essence, creating duplicates of a person. And there's all kinds of downsides to that. Go check out that video. Let me continue with this. If we successfully create clones, will they become engineered laborers? Soldiers? What? I mean, what will they be? If somebody's trying to create a clone to have a kid, you know, I don't know, but if they're creating these clones to make soldiers out of them or to make laborers out of them, isn't that just slavery? And slavery is illegal in America. it's illegal to have human slaves in America. Well, if they're going to make slaves of these things, are they human? Because a human has a male and a female parent. You see? If this thing's a human being, it can't be made a slave of. But if it's not a human, can they make slaves of them? If it's not human, it's got to be a different race. If it's a different race, and I'm not talking black or white, it doesn't matter. I'm saying a clone. If a clone is not a human being, that by definition makes it something else. And if it is something else, will they try to make slaves of it? Because I don't like that. There's something wrong. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. You see my point? And I'm not staying on the divide there, so I'm just not even going to try anymore. The argument was made to me years ago that if you take somebody's genetic tissue and grow, for example, say you got a bad kidney and you need a kidney transplant. So they take some of your genetic material and grow a good clone kidney for you. And then they put that clone in you and to replace your bad kidney. I can see that. That's okay. But cloning an entire person, an entire being, no, that's wrong. I had somebody tell me a long time ago that in his opinion, they needed to take everybody and make an entire clone of them. That way, you've got spare parts if your parts of your body break down or if you have an accident or whatever. I can't even imagine to go into how bad that would be. If you make a duplicate of yourself, is that you? Is it a copy of you? Is it your child? Is it a person? Does it have a soul? There's hundreds of questions asked like that. And using a created being like that for spare parts, again, there's something fundamentally wrong with that. And the guy that talked to me about that, I'm not harping on left or right on this, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it about that, but he was a lefty, so he and I disagreed on a lot of things. But in this, I didn't disagree with him because of politics. I disagreed with him because of morality. You see what I'm saying? It's just not right. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. And there is something else to consider here. And this is from a movie. There was a movie out years ago called The Boys from Brazil. It's an older movie. The plot is that Joseph Mengele, after World War II, and we know he did survive, after World War II, he cloned a bunch of little Adolf Hitlers in an attempt to create a new little Fuhrer. So, in this movie, Joseph Mengele was trying to recreate the Fuhrer using cloning, and have another shot at the Fourth Reich, I don't know. But again, that's kind of a far-fetched thing. But by the same token, there are, if you're this is the way I look at it. If you lack the moral foundation that would prevent you from making a clone in the first place, what other moral foundations do you lack? Would you go to create another Stalin, another Hitler, another Mao, another Pol Pot, another Caligula? You see what I'm saying? We have a lot of bad people in America, and not even in America, in world history through the ages. And access to the DNA of those individuals is probably within the realm of capability. So if somebody was to create another one of those, I'm sorry, that's not good. That's not good. This cloning sounds a lot like science fiction, and it is. But it's something they're working on, and if they succeed to any great degree, I don't think there's anything good can come out of it, out of cloning an entire person. I could see individual internal organs or an arm or a finger or whatever. I could see that. But cloning an entire person, that to me, that's... I'm going to apologize now because I honestly did try, but I don't think there is a way to stay on the fence on that topic. Even if you're not a religious person, any kind of a moral standard would prevent it. In America, Bill Clinton said that he was preventing. I want to say he made it into a law, but he's preventing a government funding for the use of creating human clones. But I don't know if that law applied to civilian or private organizations. And I was reading, I watched the video of Clinton making that announcement, and then the comments below, every other one was, yeah, but that doesn't stop anybody else from doing it. Just because the government's not doing it doesn't mean other people aren't. Or what if it's the government doing it, but they're using somebody else's funding? You see what I'm saying? And the CIA is notorious for for running drugs to finance their operations. Technically, that's not government funding, but it's the CIA using the money. You see what I'm saying? So all that being said, this is something every individual needs to know about, and they need to make up their own mind. Personally, I think that if God wanted a duplicate of me, I'd have a twin. And God, as far as I know, didn't make a duplicate of me. So I'm good with that. A copy of me made by a man somewhere in a laboratory diminishes me in ways I can't even imagine, and I'm not even going to go into that. I'm not even going to try. I'm not going to fathom that out because I don't think I can. So, at any rate, you folks look into this and make up your own minds, because there's nothing really else to say about that. I don't know what else to say. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.